Hi everyone, it's Abby with Happy Little Mystic, and welcome back to your free self-paced tarot course. Today's lesson will be all about card number 3, the Empress. And if you missed the first lessons in the series, you can check those out in the playlist link in the description box. And if you're following along with our tarot workbook, in the Major Arcana section at the very beginning, you will find a place for the Empress and all of the information we'll need to fully understand her card. Let's go ahead and start with the imagery meaning first. So the first thing we'll know when we look at the Empress is that she is sitting in the center of the card. She's looking directly at the audience here, and she's sitting in a receptive, open position that exudes this confident attitude. So her body language is open, it's not closed off. She is the second female in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. However, do remember that gender is not specific in the tarot. She's bringing forth the feminine energy, but we all have that feminine and masculine energy within us, regardless of our gender. You'll notice that the Empress is wearing this beautiful crown here, and there's actually 12 stars, and they represent the 12 zodiac signs. This crown of stars also shows a connection to the divine cosmic order, and that she has this spiritual influence. The Empress is holding a scepter here, and this is representing her power and authority and control. I also like that she's holding it up here, very similar to the Magician card, where it's above her head, and then her other hand is down here. So if we remember back to the Magician, it was the as above, so below idea. She's almost mimicking that herself. But rather than the Magician wand, she has her scepter. You'll notice here she has one red shoe that's popping out from underneath her gown. And that red shoe, very similar again to the Magician, is showing us passion, action, vitality, and strength. It also goes right along with the very comfortable seating that she has here. She's not on a rigid throne, but rather laid back in comfort, with a rich red of the pillows and the blanket. The gown the Empress is wearing is covered in pomegranate, and we saw that with the High Priestess. So later when we get to the connections to the other card section, we'll pull out that card again and see how much they relate. Pomegranates mean femininity, fertility, and the ability to create. They're very plentiful. And quite often the Empress in other decks is represented as a pregnant woman because the Empress does stand for fertility. Now, in this deck, we can't actually tell. She could be with baby. But if this card does show up, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be pregnant or you're having a child. It could. But it could also mean that you're pregnant with a new idea or that you're giving birth to a new idea. The Empress is surrounded by wheat here, and that is showing how fertile she is. This is how easily she can grow her crops. She has the connection to the water here, showing that she's very receptive, connected to emotions, her feminine side. And then she also is surrounded by all this lush trees and forests behind her, showing her connection to nature. The symbol on this heartstone here stands for Venus, and Venus is the symbol of beauty. So if you're following along with our notebook, we're going to go ahead and talk about the astrology and zodiac signs that go along with the Empress. And as we noted here on the stone heart, the symbol of Venus, the planet that is connected to the Empress is Venus, and Venus stands for love, beauty, money, and creativity. The Empress is also connected to the zodiac signs of Taurus and Libra. The Empress is also known as the mother figure. And as I mentioned earlier, in a lot of the decks, she could be represented by a pregnant mother or who is holding a baby who's given birth. If you're asking a yes or no question and you pull the Empress, the answer is yes. Move forward to fulfill your full potential is her advice. She believes in you. She's looking directly at you. She's showing you how plentiful her crops are here, the water flowing gracefully, easily. It's not being caught anywhere. So if the Empress shows up in the upright position in a reading, the key words would be potential, receiving love, creativity, The Empress is more about receiving in this case rather than taking that action. So she's all about receiving love, creativity, having that potential. She's very relaxed. She's trusting her powerful magnetism that attracts everything she desires. She can also stand for a period of growth and development. Again, if she's growing a baby within her or she's pregnant with an idea, perhaps the baby is a project, a creative endeavor, a new desire. The overall general meaning in a reading, or the advice if she were to show up, is that you should allow what is being birthed to take its time without rushing it or forcing it. So with our Magician card, he was all about go for it. You have what you need, take the action, inspired action, and no delay. What are you waiting for? And now the Empress is telling us you have what it takes. Now allow it to come to you without rushing or forcing it. Trust that your desires are being attracted to you. Sit back, relax. You've done the work. Now be ready to reap the benefits. Reap what you sow. If the Empress shows up in a career or finance reading, you may be receiving money or a job from unexpected sources. But be careful not to push. Remember, you're attracting this, so you need to be patient. Just like a mother with her baby in her womb for 9 months, there's this level of patience that you need to have. You don't want to rush having the baby too soon. That could result in health issues for both the mother and the baby. So the same applies here. Be patient and trust that the goodness you desire is being attracted to you. You're a magnet. If the Empress shows up in a love or romance reading, it's telling you that you can attract love by loving yourself first. You are actually drawing love to yourself in your own time. And this could also indicate a possible fertility or pregnancy, if that's what you're asking about. In the other section, I've noted here that when the Empress appears, we should be practicing self-love. Again, notice how she's sitting back. She's relaxed. She's calling in the heavens with her scepter and her stars, but she's enjoying this. She's enjoying nature, the water. She's watching her crops grow. She's being patient. It can also indicate that it's time to engage in more creative activities and spend time in nature. So if you are feeling blocked and the Empress shows up, the advice would be to get out in nature, find what it is that you feel that makes you feel creative and do that. So moving into the numerology of the Empress, she is card number 3. And in the back of our workbook, we do have a reference guide. But 3 is all about creativity, growth, expansion, joy. Notice her slight smile on her face and in her eyes. Self-expression through her jewelry, her crown, her beautiful gown here, her red shoes. Artistic abilities, optimism. She definitely has that facial expression of she's not worried. She knows she's got this. Everything she desires is coming to her. 3 can also mean divine support, and she's showing us that with her scepter and her Zodiac crown. 3 stands for guidance from the divine and also spiritual growth. If the Empress shows up in reverse and you choose to read reversals, this could indicate a possible mother issues or a mother wound that you're still working through. It could also mean that you're suffering from creative blocks at the moment. Maybe you have a disconnection to something in your life that you need to realign with. And again, that advice was to get out in nature if possible. The Empress showing up in the reverse could imply that you've cut yourself off from yourself and that there's this need to tap into your feminine energy. Now, again, we each possess that feminine and masculine energy regardless of our gender. So you could be cutting off that part of you. It could also indicate difficulties in romantic relationships. So the advice, if the Empress shows up in reverse, is to get back out into nature, find whatever creative pursuits or artistic endeavors you have, give yourself that self-love, take that time. And self-love could look like taking that walk, the one that you put off because you don't have time because you're taking care of everybody else. The Empress is telling you that you're important. It's kind of like being on the airplane and you're asked to put your mask on before helping anybody else. And that's why. The Empress could also indicate that idea of not being able to pour from your cup if it's empty. So you really do have to spend, you're actually helping out other people by helping yourself first. If you're good, others can be good, especially if you're a parent. So often we give so much to our kids and we're actually our best versions of ourselves when we take the time to self-love and take care of ourselves first so that we can give more to our children. We're also teaching them that lesson, in life that they need to learn to take care of themselves as well. The connections to the other card section. This will be the first card we actually start filling in this section. And you may choose to write this under the Empress, or you can flip back to the other cards we've talked about. But the Empress, as we discussed earlier, does have a connection to the Magician. You can see a lot of the same colors used here with the red and the white, and the way they're holding their hands, as above, so below. The Magician, however, was telling us to go for it. We had everything we needed, and this was the time. And then remember, the Empress is telling us, you've done the work. Now sit back, relax. You're attracting all that you desire. Love yourself, and it will come. I also want to bring in the High Priestess. As you'll see, there are some similarities here. The main one being the pomegranate fruit showing up here, and that was indicating the femininity and fertility of both the High Priestess and the Empress. It's interesting, in the High Priestess, the pomegranate is showing up on this tapestry behind her that's actually blocking her view of the water, of these emotions back here. But the nice thing about the High Priestess is that she doesn't need to be able to see the water to truly understand it, because she goes within. She goes within her intuition and uses that as guidance. And then in this very next card, we have the Empress actually wearing the pomegranate. It's become a part of her, and she can clearly see the water here. It's no longer obstructing her view. She's become one with it. It's almost like she's become comfortable with it and is now wearing it as like a nightgown or a flowing dress. Moving forward to the personal insights and reflection section for this card. Remember, this is for you to fill out on your own, for however the Empress is making you feel. When she shows up in a reading, is there something that you think of that you want to note? This may come as you begin reading for yourself or others. Perhaps there's something I've said here today that's triggered an emotion or thought or a connection that you have. You'd want to list that here so you can come back to it later. This is a place where you may want to list anything that could help you recall the meaning in a reading as well. So I'll share what I have for the personal insights and reflection section. And again, please feel free to comment below and let us know what it is that you find when looking at the Empress. So I have that the Empress is a reminder that everything blooms in its own time. She is pregnant with potential. And again, we can't really tell here. She may or may not be, or maybe she's in the early stages, which could be another sign when this card shows up. Your intuition will guide you on that as you read. So because we can't see the full pregnant belly here, you could be in the early stages of a new project or creative endeavor or a new relationship. But the potential is there, and that's the beautiful part. When the Empress shows up, I've also noted that there's a need to be more maternal, perhaps, or it could point to maternal issues. My favorite is giving birth to a project. So I definitely noted that in my reflection section. Okay, so I actually did get a new deck that I wanted to show you when we're comparing with other decks. I have the Wild Reflections Tarot deck. And I was drawn to this deck because of nature. It's my absolute favorite place to be. It's my happy place to be outside among the trees and the water and the stars. So I grabbed this deck, and I was so excited to see that the Empress is represented in this way. So you'll see this beautiful woman leaning up against the tree for support here. She is very much pregnant, and the sun is shining very close to the womb, which I absolutely love. She has beautiful flowers here instead of the wheat. And the trees are very similar. Now, she's not wearing the crown in this one. However, she does have a feather here and a few more feathers here. And then she has these beautiful little flower petals lining her pregnant belly. Looking at this card, you can almost feel the relaxed, confident happiness of the mother, the excitement of what's to come. She's not forcing or pushing anything. She's living in that moment, taking time for herself. It's a beautiful card. Now, because I've already showed you Bradley Valentine's decks for all the others, I definitely want to bring those in too. So the Angel Tarot card for the Empress is also very beautiful. Oh, and if you look closely, this Empress is actually holding her baby. So she's no longer pregnant, but she has given birth. She's attracted in that dream. She's also attracted in all of these forest animals. So if you're into what each animal stands for symbolically, this would be a wonderful card to add to your collection. I see butterflies for transformation, moths. We have fox and wolves. Interesting. I noticed that the Empress here is represented by Archangel Gabriel. So if you follow the archangels, and the words here we have are lavish abundance, give birth to your dreams, and nurture yourself and others. It's almost like she's being bathed in the sunlight too. Oh, and we have the waterfall, similar to the original card. And instead of a crown of 12 stars, we have her halo and a little, much larger scepter, which actually looks like a horn. And that could be because of Archangel Gabriel. Beautiful. And then, of course, all the trees as well. Okay, and then one more deck, because I have shown this as well. We have the Guardian Angels Messages Tarot. And I love this deck. Again, it shows like this magic just exploding off of the characters in the card. So we have the Empress here, and again, she's holding her baby, her bundle of joy, her project, her creative adventure, whatever it ends up being for you. I like how this deck did keep the stone heart and had the symbol of Venus. And this one included a little bunny rabbit. So again, if you follow the meanings of animals, this could be helpful. Just another way to read the card. Or maybe perhaps rabbits have a significance to you that you could pull from. I know rabbits are very fertile and abundant. She has the lush fields and trees behind her. I don't see water, so that might be the only thing that is different. And also her throne, although beautiful, does not look as cushiony, as comfortable. But she does have the halo here with the 12 stars to represent the zodiac signs. And then the words here we have are creation, abundance, and action. And that's interesting that this deck did include the word action, because as we discussed earlier, the Magician card is our go for it action card. But there's so many similarities in the color here with that red that makes us think that the Empress must be that action card. It's different than the High Priestess, which is more of the blues that go within intuition. It's as if she's on the cusp or in the middle of the Magician and the High Priestess. So I like that. Maybe this is a reference to more of that quiet action where you've put in the work. Now you can reap the benefits. You can have that abundance come through. All right, so here are the cards for the Empress, and that will do for our lesson on her. If you have anything else you want to add in the comment section that you think could help our viewers, please feel free to do that. We can start a discussion down there to really dive even deeper into the Empress and her meaning. And our next lesson will be all about card 4, the Emperor, the counterpart to the Empress. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.